Hey guys, today we're going over the new selection pack, or wait, normal pack. Normal pack tricky reception. Is this not a selection? Huh. Seems like, apparently, it is a selection pack. Huh. Oh, alright. Never mind, it is a selection pack. It says normal pack here, which is confusing, but alright. So there's some new cards here, some which are a bit better than others, honestly. So we have Summon Sorceress, which I believe is pretty useless right now in its current state because it has been errated. But there will be a deck that can abuse this that comes out later, I believe. But as of currently, we need um, to make this Link 3 monster, which requires 2+ monsters with the same type, and you cannot use tokens for this. And then we can special summon a monster from our hand in defense position to your opponent's zone. Discard points to, but negate its effects. Then you can special summon one monster from your deck in defense position with the same type as that monster, but negate its effects. If you summon from your deck this way, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except monsters with that same original type. So the only deck I think right now that might be able to utilize this is something like perhaps Mech Knight or Salmon Great or something like that. I think the reason you might be able to play this in Mech Knights is all of your guys, I believe, should be psychics, and no other particular reason, honestly. And this might help you get some Mech Knight names just in general, potentially. I'm not even completely certain, because this effect is pretty annoying, requiring you to special summon a monster from your hand, and then you need to summon well, the guy from the hand needs to be the same type as the one you want to summon from deck. That is pretty annoying. With Salmon Great, all of you guys should be Cyburst, so that should be pretty easy to handle, and there are a lot of good Cyburst targets in general. So this probably works out pretty well in a good amount of Cyburst decks, but not all of them because it's a spellcaster, and transcode cannot activate if you summoned anything that is not a Cyberse monster. So that kind of sucks. And also, Splash Mage locks you out of things that are not Cyberse, I believe, in some way. So yeah, not like the best. And also, this isn't a Link 2, this is a Link 3. So it's just got, I guess you would say, the right amount of cost to make this a bit annoying to make. So yeah, not entirely useless, not entirely useful. Whatever you summon from the deck also has its effect negated, and you're locked into that type, so you probably can't Zeatlantis that monster back, so it's not as splashable as like Promethean Princess somehow. As of currently, I don't think there's anything you can do that's really heinous with this card. But another new card, Moon of the Closed Heaven. You can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. This card points to this turn. If you link summon a Link 5 monster using this card you control, you can also use that monster your opponent controls as material. So this card, noticeably, this effect is an ignition effect, so it doesn't seem that great to me. For a lot of reasons. I mean, this card probably has some sort of usage, but a lot of things to know. First off, for some reason, Moon of the Closed Heaven targets, despite it requiring things like to point to your arrows, which is just awkward. And also, it has really bad arrows. Also worth mentioning. If we want to summon a Link 5 monster using this card we control, we can also use that monster your opponent controls as material. So you must use this card and your opponent's card to do the Link summon. But it has to be for a Link summon of a Link 5 or higher monster. So that's also awkward. So the target that presumably you'd want to make is going to be the Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. So my assumption here is that we should control, let's see, how many guys does this require? Wait, 4 plus. Does this even work? Then, let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it works. So this is a link too. So if our opponent controls 2 monsters, and then we control um 1 monster, we should be able to use Moon of the Closed Oven, our 1 monster, and our opponent's 2 monsters to make Underworld Goddess. So that's a thing, I guess. Tribute 2 of our opponent's guys to make a link monster, but also like this effect is an ignition effect, so we can respond to this. And any removal also works on this, and this telegraphs the fact that you're making Underworld Goddess a lot. So a little bit worse than making just Underworld Goddess in general if we use Closed Heaven. So yeah, I don't think this card is that useful. And it's also weird because it's technically supposed to be used to kind of break certain boards. But like, I can't think of a niche type of board that this would beat. And the other thing that's worth mentioning is because of the arrows on this thing, this has what I might call Longusu arrows. And that means the arrows here are exactly the opposite of Geonator Transverser. So if you want to play around Geonator Transverser, you're also playing into Moon of the Closed Heaven, just randomly. Well, isn't that awkward? Well, moving on. Gold Pride Eradicator. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target a Fusion Synchro Xyz or Link monster on the field, or if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can target 2, destroy them. Once per turn during the end phase, if the previous effect was activated this turn, return this card to the extra deck and view special summon 1 Gold Pride Eliminator from your deck or graveyard. And Gold Pride Eliminator is this fella. If your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can special summon this card from your hand, so same effect as every Gold Pride. You can banish 1 other Gold Pride monster from your hand, face up field or graveyard special, summon 1 Gold Pride token. Machine, Dark Attack, 0 defense. Okay, with the same levels as that banished monster. So this card can't be used as material for a Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, or Link summon this turn, except for a Gold Pride monster. Huh. What? I mean, why does this say that? Because you can't use a token, right? What? For XYZ summon. Oh, wait, no, it's this card. As in the Eliminator? Oh, okay. But it doesn't lock you into Gold Prides, noticeably. Alright. So Eliminator, oddly enough, is also a tuner. So this makes level 8 synchros, I guess, with level 3 main deck guys. I guess that's the idea. And then we have EPH Gendamore. So this is just some Cyber support for whatever reason. Cyber's always eating good. If this card is synchro summoned, you can special summon 1 level 4 Cyber's monster from your graveyard in defense position, but negate its effects. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except for Cyber's monsters. So noticeably, this is for the rest of the turn? Alright. When your Cyber's monster battles an opponent's monster and inflicts spell damage to them, you can banish this card from your graveyard and inflict that much damage to your opponent. Wait, what? That's just effectively double battle damage. So I think this is supposed to directly support like Math Mech. So we can go into Final Sigma and then do double damage and then do double that damage, and that might be lethal. Is that the idea, I guess? That seems like it. Alright. Whatever. Then we have a Disablaster, the Negaton Fortress. Negate any card effects activated in this card's column. Wait, what? Well, it has to negate, well, yeah, it can only negate activated effects because otherwise it would include itself, I guess. Oh, whoops. If there is a column with no cards, you can special summon this card from your hand to your zone in that column. Wait, that effect's actually pretty damn good. Okay, you can only special summon Disablaster, the Negaton Fortress, once returned this way. Negate any card effects activated in this card's column. Oh, that's any card effects. Wait, this card's actually good. What? But there is a downside. You can only special summon to a column with no cards, and it negates in the column. All right. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place this card in your pendulum zone. This card's like a good pen card in general. Huh. I think it would play really well with maybe Valence because they can move cards from different zones. So if you combine this with the fusion that pops when you move a guy, that's pretty good. And noticeably, let's see, this works different from Magnite's. It negates the card effects activated in this card's column. But this effect, negate any card effects activated in this card's column, is different, right? Or is it? Wait, what? What am I saying? Wait, negate any card effects activated in this card's column. This cares about it being activated in the column, right? So, no, it works the same as Magnite's. Oh, wait, that's pretty good then, huh? So if you activate a card effect in the column, and then you move that card somewhere else, it doesn't matter because it activated in that column, right? So it's kind of like the Baguska thing where even if you were to Forbidden Droplet your guy and then just not negate Baguska, I guess, it would get negated. Despite like moving from a different place, because this cares about columns and where the effect activated. Okay. Uh, well, I think multi-universe is pretty interesting to an extent. But alright, Krishnerd Witch cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects while multi-universe is on the field. You can only use each of the following effects of Krishnerd Witch once per turn. So you can use both effects in the same turn, I suppose. Alright. If a card in the field zone leaves the field by a card effect, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. When a field spell that is already face up on the field activates its effect. Quick effect, you can shuffle one of your monsters that's banished or in your graveyard into the deck, or if that monster mentions that field spell, you can special summon it instead. So the interesting thing is, if that monster mentions that field spell, you can special summon it instead is probably the more interesting effect. Aside from that, I don't see Krishnerd Witch really being that useful. Maybe this can be useful in like Dark World, maybe? Because well, yeah, your what's his face? Your Genta mentions the field spell specifically, and it will definitely be banished or in the graveyard. And we don't really want to shuffle it; just special summoning it would be pretty good, I guess. But I don't think you can make a field spell leave via effect in like Dark World, for example. And I can't think of any decks that really do this type of thing, where you have a monster that mentions like a specific monster that mentions a field spell, and then a way to make that card leave. I guess specifically though, there is one thing that this can do. If we're playing a zombie world, I think that's probably the best field spell I can think of that you can kind of like play with the Krishnerd Witch. If our field zone leaves the field by card effect, it doesn't have to be our card effect. So if our opponent drops a Duster on us, and we have a Banshee that's banished from setting the zombie world, we can then special summon Banshee and then activate Banshee effect to set another zombie world. I guess that would probably be the best usage. So there's that, and then we have multi-universe, which is only activatable if you do not control a face-up card in your field zone. You can target one field spell that is banished or in either graveyard, destroy this card, and if you do, place that targeted card face-up in your field zone. You can only use this effect of multi-universe once per turn. If a card or cards in the field zone would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So I feel like this might be playable with maybe Gate Guardian or something, because Gate Guardian's field spell is not hard once per turn, or something like a chicken game. But yeah, I have no idea how you would put those cards into the graveyard and have no face up in your field zone, or how you search multi-universe, or if you just happen to have multi-universe in your hand. So that's like a little bit awkward. So that yeah, those cards, they might have some usage, but it doesn't seem like it would be anything except for Degenerate. So yeah, time reloader. This looks like it has nothing to do with time thieves, unfortunately, huh? Alright, during the main phase, if a monster on the field is flipped face up, you can special summon this card from your hand, then change one face up monster on the field to face down defense position. Oh. Wait, that's kind of good for, like, really OG flip decks. Alright. During the main phase, if this card is flipped face up, you can target one monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position, then change one face up monster on the field to face down defense position. Oh, that's nice, actually. But I mean, I don't think this is very searchable, so that's like awkward. Convertible. Obviously a pun for convertible. Alright. Flip. You can special summon one level 5 or higher flip monster from your deck and face down defense position except for convertible. During the battle phase, if this card is in your hand, quick effect, you can target one face down monster on the field, send it to the graveyard, and if you use specials on this card in face down defense position, and then it can trigger the flip effect, I guess. Wait a second. During the battle phase, if this card is in your hand, this can happen during the battle phase at any point in time. And it also does not say whose monster. So if you booked your opponent, you can use convertible to send a guy. We can play this in Ninja. Not necessarily like that useful in Ninja, but it is at least playable. None of your monsters are flip monsters, so you won't be able to utilize that effect, though, I'm pretty sure. At the top. I guess I'll double check, though, just to be certain. Alright. Yugioh the Gravity Ninja, what are you? Yugioh is a rock effect. Yeah, that's not gonna cut it. Alright then. Yeah, this is useful with some flip decks probably then. Alright. Curse, Fire King, Doomburst. So this is a Fire King. Huh. Okay. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 400 attack until the end of this turn. You can only use each of the following effects of Curse, Fire King, Doomburst. Once per turn, if you control a Fiend Tuner, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summon, you target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 600 attack until the end of this turn. Right now, this card doesn't seem that useful. It might be useful for something later. It gives that impression, I suppose. But, is this supposed to maybe synergize with the Summon Sorceress or something? Like as an extender for that? Or is there something else? Maybe. Alright, Paralyzing Mushroom. Oh, Thunder. If a monster that was originally Thunder is sent from your hand or field to the graveyard, even during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If a Thunder monster's effect is activated in the hand while this card is in the monster zone, except during the damage step, you can special summon a Paralyzing Token. You can only use each effective Paralyzing Mushroom once per turn. Seems like pretty good to play with like Thunder Dragon. Nice. Yeah. We can do this, and then we can activate a Thunder monster, and then this just summons a free token. There's no lock on this card or anything, so yeah, seems pretty solid. And then we contribute either the token or the Paralyzing Mushroom for like a Thunder Dragon Colossus, I guess. Nice Thunder extender, actually, right? And interestingly enough, this actually can trigger Colossus itself because it special summons from the hand and it starts a chain. So if we send a Thunder monster like a Sprite card from our hand or field to the graveyard, that would trigger this, right? It doesn't have to be sent by effect, right? So pretty interesting either way, right? This effect wouldn't trigger in Sprite though, but we could trigger it to we can use this to trigger like Colossus summoning condition, which I think is probably not that bad. Probably, right? Mutamorphosis. Wait, what? Tribute one fusion or synchro monster, special summon one monster from your deck with the same level as the tributed monster's original level, but return it to the hand during the end phase. This can get you Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, huh? But okay. Yeah, I don't really see what this card is going to be used for. So the issue being mostly you have to have Metamorphosis in your hand. So that might be a little bit awkward. But alright. Whatever you special summon off of this, it will not be negated though, which is also interesting. There's probably something you can do with this card, but I don't see it immediately here. Just for example though, I know for a fact that the Memento fusion should be level 7, I believe. So if we tribute that, we should be able to summon a Unicorn from the deck, and then Unicorn grab Theosis, special summon Fenrir, grab Riseheart, and then make Riseheart is technically doable, right? And you don't get locked by Memento, so technically that is something you'd be able to do. I don't know what else you could do though. The other target you have for this is like a Synchro Monster. But yeah, you can't really search this, so whatever. Sunset Beat. If a face-up monster you control is changed to face-down defense position, you can target one card on the field, destroy it. Oh, that's actually interesting. Okay. If a flip monster or monsters you control is flip face up, even during the damage step, you can target one of them and inflict damage to your opponent equal to its level times 200. A bit less useful there, but alright. Okay. I mean, that effect is not like that insane right now, but yeah, I can see it having like some potential. There's of the Afterroot. Target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your opponent's field, then you banish one monster your opponent controls. Now if your opponent... Wait, what? That's non-targeting banish, isn't it? Oh, alright. Then if your opponent has a banished monster, return one of them to the graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, then target one level 1 monster in your graveyard, shuffle that monster into the deck. Then you can set one Tears of the Underroot, Tears of the Overroot, or Tears of the Afterroot from your deck. This card is, well, I'm not sure like what deck would be able to utilize this effect necessarily. Like, I guess Snake Eye, right? It's a level 1 monster. But Terrors of the After, this effect is pretty strong. Like, just the first effect is already pretty strong for several reasons. So, against a Mirror Jade, if you were to banish it by this effect and then return it to the graveyard, you would not be able to activate the Mirror Jade's effect to destroy, because it essentially misses timing. So, yeah. An effect like that, like the Gate Guardian combined effect as well. A lot of things get bypassed by Terrors of the Afterroot. Just damn. And then this is also a non-targeting banish that returns to the graveyard. So the returning to the graveyard part is kind of a negative, honestly, but the banishing non-targeting, that's pretty strong. Giving your opponent a monster is probably not a big deal, because it's probably going to just be a hand trap or a card they don't want in the graveyard to begin with. But you do have to special summon that card to your opponent's field, then bash a monster. So we can't target something like a Medora with this. And also Medora could shuffle back whatever we target in the graveyard. So that's actually a little bit annoying. And it is optional to do the banish, so we can just try to mess up our opponent a little bit by special summoning something to their field. So that's actually kind of neat, I suppose. A few more new cards. Stranger Big Bang. If a monster special summon from the extra deck is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. Alright. During your main phase, you can reduce the levels of all other monsters on the field by 1, and if you do, increase the level of this card by the number of monsters whose levels were reduced by this effect during your battle phase or your opponent's main phase. If this card's level is 8 or higher, quick effect, you can destroy one other card on the field, and if you do, this card's level becomes 5. Oh. Wait, this card's pretty sick, actually. So, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to shove this in like all my decks from now on, but the effect here, this can reduce the levels of all other monsters on the field, including your own. and then you can kind of use it as like a pank effect. Being a low rarity card, like just being a rare card, yeah, this is pretty playable for things. So pretty neat, actually. Procession of the T-Jar. Face down defense position monsters in this card's column cannot change their battle positions. Also, neither player can activate the set cards in the spell and trap zones in this card's column. You can only use each of the following effects of Procession of the T-Jar once per turn. During your main phase, you can move this card to an unused adjacent main monster zone. If this card in the monster zone moves to another monster zone, change all other monsters in this card's current column to face down defense position. I guess that's kind of cool. I mean, yeah, it's a low rarity card, and it's a tuner, right? Yeah. Pretty neat card, but I mean, I don't see it being like that useful. Is it? I wonder if this actually works against Sengenpai Transcendent or whatever with its change, because it worked against my Geo, so meh, great. This is a continuous effect, so it's a bit different, I guess, maybe? Who knows? Moko Moko. Flip, draw one card. During your main phase, you can change this card to face down defense position. You only use each of the preceding effects once per turn. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. Wow, this is vaguely annoying. Just a little bit. Pretty interesting though, I guess. Swarm of Centipedes. If this card is flipped face up, you can target one other monster on the field, change it to face up attack position or face down defense position. There are a lot of kind of like flip effects on these cards here. You can only use this effect hard once per turn. Once per turn during the main phase, soft once per turn. You can change this card to face down defense position. I mean, this effect is moderately useful for things. UFO Light. Your opponent cannot target this card on the field with card effects except during the battle phase. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. During the end phase, you draw one card, then you must banish any number of cards from your hand, minimum one. If you do, this card gains 500 attack for each, and that's just a permanent increase. Yeah, I don't think that card's like that interesting. Okay. It might be interesting in a low power format though, I guess. You can target up to 2 face-up monsters you control, including a fiend monster. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, destroy those monsters. Alright. You can only use this effect hard once per turn. The other effect, not hard once per turn. When a monster is destroyed by this card's effect, you can target face-up monsters your opponent controls equal to the number destroyed. Wait, what? Okay. This card gains attack equal to their combined original attack until the end of your next turn. So this is just Draco Berserker as an Arc Fiend, I guess? Alright. If you have no cards in your hand and this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one dark monster from your graveyard. Wait, what? Then target one dark monster you control can attack directly this turn. Infernity Queen. I guess it's an Infernity card for sure. Maybe it can be an extender for something. And then this is just a normal monster. Okay. Jongleur Goal Illusionist. A captivating street performer who will catch you off guard with his song and dance and hocus pocus attacks once his eyes start spinning. Danger is impending, so make a run for it. I have no idea why you would need specifically an illusion type normal monster, but I mean, it's here now. Wait, what's this card? Phantom Hand. Once per turn, if you control face up infernity monster, you can remove from play all cards in your hand face. You banish all your cards in hand face down until your next standby phase. Well, that's a psychopathic card if I've ever seen one. I wonder if you can rift panel that effect. Well, alright. I guess. That seems to be every single new card added in the most recent selection pack. And honestly, there are like a few cards that are moderately interesting, like Disablaster. But for the most part, I don't think there's anything that interesting. And I can't think of anything that can really abuse the Disablaster. I mean, because technically, if you're going off really hard, you could control 3 copies of Disablaster, the Negation Fortress, and then that would negate everything. But also, this negates your own guards, which is worth noting a little bit. But, this just can straight up negate all card effects. So, if you were to activate, for example, right, Geki in the spell and trap zone in front of this guy, like just in the same column, that would be negated. So, hmm, pretty interesting in that regard. But yeah, for the most part, I don't see anything like super good in this selection. If you want something from this selection, honestly, you can probably just craft it and you don't have to pull from here at all. Unless maybe you were looking for a Metaverse or Chicken Game. There isn't really a good way to get Metaverse or Chicken Game, I suppose. And also, the Underworld Goddess is a little bit hard to get. But for the most part, I don't think a lot of these cards are super great here. Colossus has its own back, so if you want just the Colossus, but not Thunder Dragons, I guess this would be a great way to go about that. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.